Get ready to turn that shit off and turn this shit up. Rap Gamez Da Podcast is now live with real convos and real insights, touching bases with who and what you love to stream with ManMan, Grindhard, and DJ Young Shawn.
Yo.
DJ Young Shawn, the street source.
Yes, sir. And we got ManMan Grindhard checking in again with another episode of Rap Gamez Da Podcast.
Man, episode 4.
Hey, it's episode 4. It's a long time coming for episode 4, bro. But you know, life happens.
Niggas get busy, you feel me? Niggas got shit to do. Priorities, you feel me? Bills.
We had to make this episode right here a priority. Hands down. We talked about this episode like way before it even we even started planning for it, because I knew for a fact, like when we said we were doing the podcast, I had to have this individual on the podcast.
Go on and introduce the special guest for today, man.
Man, we got my OG in this 2K. I ain't gonna say 2K because I feel like I don't want to limit the knowledge that I got from this individual. So I don't want to just put it on 2K. But since I've been in this internet space, I can say big homie really been one of my OGs. We got K.Spade, the motherfucking prospect, man.
Yes, sir. The one and only. What's good, fam?
Man, K.Spade, how you going, man?
I can't complain, bro. You know how it go. Don't nobody want to hear that anyway. So I'm here. I'm getting it.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. I got so many questions for you, K.Spade. Like,
I'm ready, man. I ain't gonna lie. I'm excited to be here, bro. Straight up.
So let's start from the beginning. Let's take it all the way back to the beginning of the YouTube saga, man. How you get started on the YouTube? Because I don't think I never asked you like how you got started and like where you even got the motivation to even do YouTube from.
Nah, it's crazy because I mean, gaming was always my thing anyway. So I always gamed. Gaming was always my like release. Like I was never a big club person or whatever. I used to get on the game and try to kill. You know what I'm saying? Like whoever I was facing in that moment, I wasn't thinking about what bills needed to be paid or, you know, what was good in life or what was bad in life. It just took me away. So I always use gaming as my escape. But what's crazy is, you know, you mentioned 2K, and 2K eventually is the thing that took me to the next level. But that really wasn't the first thing. Like I really thought I was going to be a COD 2K a COD YouTuber. And back then, man, I used to watch this cat named Hutch. He was a sniper. And I know I'm going way back in the archive, but it was two dudes, a guy named Hutch and another guy named C Nanners. And I used to watch these dudes, man, and the stuff they used to do was just legendary. I ain't even asked, but surely, like, I'm clear to just speak how I speak, like we can cuss, right?
No, run it. This rap.
Okay,
yeah. Rap game.
Yeah, so I mean, the shit they were doing for that time was unheard of. It was legendary shit. And you know, I bought the stuff. I remember telling my lady, like, yo, I'm finna cop this HD PVR. Like, you could tell I'm dating this era because this is before Elgato. Yeah, and all that shit. I'm like, I'm finna get this HD PVR and I'm finna start recording these gameplays and putting this shit on YouTube. And I was just doing some COD shit. And the only other thing that I was playing at the time was NBA 2K11 crew mode. And because those were the only two games I was playing, I would throw them both up, and I could not understand why that COD shit wasn't catching traction. And I'm like, damn, I'm going crazy. Like, I'm looking at the gameplays, you know, I'm thinking I'm going crazy. And I'm like, this shit not catching traction. And a homeboy of mine was like, I ain't even asked him to do it. He was like, bro, I jumped on YouTube and I searched for COD videos, and I found this many. And I searched for 2K crew mode videos, and I found like a handful of. And I understand supply and demand. And I made a pivot at that point. I was like, okay, it's a big ass ocean of COD people out there, but it was a smaller pond of 2K people. And I just made a pivot and I just made my focus 2K and the rest was history.
So at that point, once you searched YouTube and saw that like it wasn't really like an audience for the two, well, I ain't gonna say like an audience, but it wasn't really no videos in terms of like the 2K crew. You knew then that like, yo, this one I'm finna attack.
Yeah, I mean, and to be completely honest, I was basing that on two things because the views was there. So I mean, I'm starting out, so I'm getting 30 to 50 views on a COD video, and I'm getting 200-300 views on this 2K shit. I ain't getting no views, but I mean, when you compare the two, I'm like, why is this 2K shit so sticky and the COD shit not working? Because to me, I'm putting up crazy videos in COD. And it was just way too much competition out there. It was so much harder to be found there that I was like, all right, bet. I mean, you know, the demand is here. I got 300 people that want to see this 2K shit, and I only got 50 people that want to see COD. I'm gonna go with a 300 at.
Did you have a goal in mind, like an end goal with how far you wanted to go with gaming, or it was just something you just was just messing with?
I mean, I had a goal. And to be completely honest, I don't think I've ever told anybody this, but I think my goal to a certain extent was kind of my detriment, because at the time, 100K on YouTube was doing it. And like, I'm super new in this shit. And I'm like, I'm gonna hit 100K. And I got folks saying like, oh, you know, even my homies that's been fucking with me forever, they like, I don't know, man. Like, you ain't gonna get no 100K. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna get 100K on this shit. I mean, and I looking back, I kind of regret that I didn't dream bigger, but I couldn't see bigger, because it wasn't nobody with no million subscribers and shit. I mean, this 2010, wasn't nobody, I mean, not in the gaming space like that. Wasn't nobody rocking like that. I mean, even back then, Chris Moore, who was the big guy, the 2K guy, he didn't have no million. So I mean, 100K was, to me, that was out of the stratosphere. So I was like, I'm gonna hit 100K. And you know, I just kept going, and it was also around that time I got discovered by Machinima. This is back when Machinima was still somebody where that name carried weight. With you told somebody, hey, I'm partnering with Machinima, that shit meant something.
Explain what Machinima is before you get into it, for the ones that don't know what Machinima was. Like, that wasn't in the social media space back in the day, because that was major. It
was major, man. Machinima was they were a network, but before I even understood what a network was, the way I perceived Machinima, they was like a talent agency. That's the way I saw it. And they went and got the best YouTubers. So when you saw Hutch, C Nanas, Chris Moore, all these people was partnering with Machinima. So at the start of their video, you'll see that big red as M. And back then, in that time, when you saw that M, that shit meant greatness. When KSI got discovered, he got scooped up by Machinima. So all of these people, you know, the best in the gaming space at that time, they were signed to Machinima.
It's a flex. That's a flex. I ain't mean to cut you off.
Back then, that shit was it. For real, for real.
So you got picked up by Machinima. So let's see. So you started around 2010. How long did it take for you to get picked up by Machinima once you started the 2K content?
I want to say maybe a year. To be completely honest, I don't remember how long it was, but I know I got discovered by them before 2K12 came out. Because what happened was, when 2K12 came out, they took crew mode out. And I remember kind of feeling like, oh shit, like, what am I going to do? Because I built a whole channel on a mode that they just took out of the game. And, you know, I had the sponsorship. I got partnered with these guys. And that's when, again, I had to make like a bit of a pivot. And that's when I started making like my career content.
When 2K took crew out of their game, right? In my honest opinion, and I know this jumping ahead like in the timeline, like what you was doing with the crew mode, to me personally, bro, that was what the league was before there was a 2K league. And I think everybody that watched it and kept up with NBA 2K at the time, they knew that.
Yeah, I even had conversations with them. Like, after that mode was removed, you know, obviously I couldn't stop making content. So you do what the best content creators do, and you reinvent yourself. I started doing the my career shit, but because I was starting to build, and you know, my name was getting out there, I started getting invited to 2K's, whatever they call it, like community day. So when they first started, the very first one, when they started doing that thing, that was Chris Moore, me, iPod King, Carter, you know, that original group. And I was telling the devs, I was like, this shit got, back then it was just considered esports. I was like, this shit really got esports potential. I was telling them this in 2011, 2012. I was like, this shit really got esports potential. And I feel like y'all alienating a big part of your gaming space by taking it out. And even back then, I'm having conversations with, you know, running 2K and other members of the team, just saying like the numbers aren't there. When we look at the numbers, like people like Park over this. And I'm like, I'm telling you, y'all throwing, like you throw everything at Park. All the events was Park. All the cool shit was Park. All the, you know, the dope shit you could do was Park. And I was like, I feel like if you brought that mode back and you allow people to peacock, you know, show off their achievements and do all that shit in this mode, I think this mode takes over. And I kind of led that whole thing on YouTube. I started to do my career shit, but I continued to just lead the whole bring back crew mode revolution. And that I end up kind of being the face of that thing, trying to bring that mode back.
Hey, Shawn, I know this might be off topic a little bit.
What's up?
But do you hear what this man's saying right now, bro? The
I ain't gonna lie.
the first 2K community.
Like, I ain't gonna lie. Y'all put me on some shit because I'm young, you feel me? Like, around that time, I was a real young nigga just getting into 2K, fucking around, loving the shit. I ain't gonna lie, I'm just enjoy the conversation, just continue the conversation for real talk.
Bro, I feel like we got in late because we didn't know what this shit could be. We were just playing the game. Even when I first saw 2K, we were just playing the game. I never knew I could talk to the people that, up and like later on into it or whatnot. I never knew YouTube was even a thing at this point. For real. But once I did though, oh my God. Oh my God. So picked up by Machinima, you get invited to the first 2K community. What was that like?
It was cool as shit, man. Meeting the devs, meeting some of these other YouTubers because of these people, and I ain't gotta tell y'all, YouTube fake as shit. So like other content creators, they fuck with you, but they fuck with you from a distance. You know what I'm saying? Because it's also very competitive. So people, they say they fuck with you, but they really don't. So that put us all in the same spot, kinda, because that boy Smooth moved different. So like they set it up where like I think if the community day was like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I think Smooth might have been like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So they had it set up where like when we was getting there, he was leaving,
Wait.
But oh yeah, he moved different, bro.
This nigga had his own community day for 2K? Like
he moved different, bro. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if I've ever, my homies know, but I've never really said this on a public forum. But when I first came into YouTube, when I started meeting other 2K content creators, the message they tried to push on me was like, hey, Smooth think he better than everybody. He don't fuck with people. So without even knowing this, man, it had my mentality like, oh, well, fuck dude. But the more I got in this game and the more I learned, the more I earned the respect for this dude because he just moved proper. Like when I look back, he moved proper. He moved right. He didn't let people in his circle because there was no need to. He was the father of this shit. He started this shit. So it was never a situation where he could benefit off. It was never a situation where it could be a true partnership. Any relationship was going to be him boosting the shit out of you. Yeah. And he knew that. And he understood that. So he just moved different. He always did.
Man, that's dope. So you actually met Chris Smooth?
Yeah, I've met Smooth on multiple occasions. But on that very first event, we didn't. A couple of the guys actually got in trouble by some of the 2K folks because they made a video of them like running around like where Smooth, like looking for him, like made like a little comical video running around the hotel and shit. Like, is he over here? Like, where Chris Smooth? And like the 2K folks was like, hey, like kill it. Oh, that shit finna get you sent home. Like they knew like this was our guy. You know what I'm saying? Like if you talking about I feel like this is before we understood the impact of analytics. They knew Smooth was that guy. And they was like, no, like cut this shit out or we'll send you home.
Man, Chris Smooth back then was like a unicorn. Like everybody knew he existed or whatnot, but like seeing him or something like that, I don't know. It was like he was one of them YouTubers that kept that real mystic vibe. Like only pop out when necessary. Ain't gonna do too much, get the job done, run his numbers up and get out the way.
Yeah, man, he was a genius. I mean, still is. I look at him as I just got a tremendous amount of respect for him, man. Like, coming in, like I said, it's a competitive space, and because he was so dominant in my early videos, before I even knew who dude was, because remember, I didn't know about the 2K content creators. I only knew the COD people. Mm-hmm. So for me to start doing content, this man already had like an army. So I would just upload a video and people would jump in my comment section and say, this guy want to be Chris Smooth. And I would be like, who the fuck is, like, I don't even know who the fuck y'all talking about. Like, who is Buddy? So without even knowing him, it made me, like put up this defense to just be like, I don't even know who dude is. Like, fuck dude. And then because I was playing crew mode and he was playing my career, it made me talk that shit and be like, yeah, that man playing the computer. I'm out here. You know what I'm saying? Like if I ever run into him out here, he getting buckets. Like I was talking my shit early. But then like I said, I had to look back and be like, nah, I get it. Like I understand why he moved like he moved. Even when it came to, when he would play online modes, he moved smart because he either gotta go crazy or he a video for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Like he really was just in a situation where he had to move smart, and I understand it now.
So this 2K wise, right? If we talking 2K time frame, this what 2K 13, 14?
Yeah.
Okay. So
this is 13, 14, that run.
Quick story time. How I met K.Spade, found out about K.Spade it was 2K15. And this, if I'm being completely honest, the only time I ever clout chased on YouTube was this man. And when I did that shit, I got humble because I'm like, bro, that shit was really lame because dude cool as fuck. But it was that same mindset. Oh, I'm about to find this nigga in the park and it's up. Like if I get this video and I put this shit up, oh, it's over with.
Facts.
It's over with. Bro, we chased you around the park probably 2 hours before you even noticed we was even trying to play you.
I remember them days, bro. I remember them days.
But it was humbling though, because like I instantly knew then, and mind you, this 2K15, that there wasn't a way to go. Like in terms of like YouTube space, like you can't do the enemy route. Like it's just not gonna work. I felt like it wasn't gonna work. Like it was people that came up doing it that way, but I just felt like the whole clout chasing, like it just wasn't gonna work if I were trying to build like a 2K audience. So
yeah, I mean, like you said, people have taken that route. It's just, you have to make a decision early on who you want to be. You have to stick to it. You can't. The toughest thing about content creation is no matter what type of content you create, somebody not gonna fuck with it, and you got to be okay with it. Because if you got people that do fuck with it, if you start trying to change to appease those that don't fuck with it, you're gonna probably lose the ones that do. So, like, I feel like if you come in on that negative vibe, just like fuck it, I'm challenging everybody, I'm this guy, you're gonna get some people that really fuck with that type of content, but you're gonna kind of alienate yourself. And even though most of these guys is faking when they saying they fucking with you, the real ones that really would fuck with you, you're gonna push them away too. So you will have to stand on it. Like if you start it like that and you really want to go that path, it's gonna be it's just a tougher path, I think.
So we got Machinima, we get 2K Community Day. After the 2K Community Days, where did you take your content from there?
I think it was an eye-opening experience for me. I tease people a lot and say that, like, fanatics of any different genre, they learn about the thing that they're a fan of. Like, if you talk to people who car people, man, they'll tell you, like, nah, man, the Gen 6 vet versus the Gen 7 vet, the engine changed, they know all about that shit. Fashion dudes can tell you, like, I know they brought these Jordans back, but that shit used to be leather, and there's nubuck, or that used to be infrared, and there's Pantone red. They know that shit. But gamers, to me, they the least educated fan group of the thing that they love. They don't take the time to research like how things are made or done. And this also included me at a time. So because I got an opportunity that a lot of people didn't get a chance to get when I was going to 2K and meeting these devs and having these conversations with these devs, it was eye-opening. So the rhetoric on my channel changed. I changed the way I was talking. And people was like, oh, man, you done went to 2K and sold out. And I was like, or I went to 2K and got enlightened. The shit I thought I knew, I didn't know. So it just changed the way I saw things. And in a way, it kind of, in one way, it kind of hurt me because a lot of folks was like, man, this joker done sold out, man. Like, he went from saying 2K got to tighten this shit up to let's get 2K one more year to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like it made people be like, damn, he sold out. But what it did was it got me other opportunities. So now, in this program that EA used to have called Game Changers. So now I'm being flown to EA. I'm playing Madden early. I'm giving feedback on Madden. I'm playing NBA Live early. I'm giving feedback on that. My first time out of the country, I got sent to Vancouver to play UFC early. I'm giving feedback on that. So I'm still working with 2K. Obviously, I'm signing NDAs. I can't go in one company and talk about what the other one doing. But I'm all over the place. They sending me everywhere. And I'm just playing games. I'm giving feedback. And I'm like, I must be doing something right because they keep sending me around. So this feedback I'm giving is valuable. Now, how can I flip this shit to be more than a free trip?
Okay, this a question that I always wanted to ask, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I came into YouTube, I always knew that my persona was gonna be raw, uncut, not give a fuck, like, and
Yep.
no matter what doors it closed, I ain't give a fuck. Like I was gonna keep it real, like, and that hurt like a lot when you came into YouTube. Even when I first saw your channel, I'm like, bro, dude, shit, professional as hell, and the beats is hard. You feel me? Like the beats is crazy on this channel.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he's super professional. Like when you first started, where did that come from?
But it's crazy because I didn't. At some point when I started on a similar path that you did. Like I was super raw and uncut. I actually, man, and I probably shouldn't even be telling this story. I had to go back and delete some videos because I had a homie that hit me up and be like, man, I found one of your old videos, man. You ought to hear how you talking in this bitch. And he was telling me some of the shit I was saying. I was like, bro, send me the name of that bitch. Let me kill it now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Bro, that shit get me canceled in 2023. Like, let me kill this shit today. But I started like really raw. And at some point, like I felt like I needed to because the person I kept getting compared to was Chris Move. And he was the clean cut, professional guy that I saw, you know what I'm saying, as like he was the professional dude. And I was like, okay, people keep saying I'm trying to be him, so I'm gonna go the other way, And I did that for a while. But then as I started to get more opportunities, I cleaned it up a bit. I still didn't want to go like it's cussing in my videos. I'm still cussing in my videos and shit, but I didn't go too crazy. Like maybe I'll say shit, but maybe I wouldn't say fuck. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Like I understood, I kind of learned and understood where that line was at. And I just operated around that line.
So what time frame the Game Changer start? This around?
I want to say this is 2014, 2015.
So in 4 years, you already get flew out by the companies that you know.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was just a combination. I want to give myself some credit and say that, I was good at what I did, and I was an entertaining guy. I was never the guy who I was never bad on the sticks, but my content wasn't like you come here to see the best player in the world. Like that wasn't the approach I took, and that was another thing I think helped me to play a squad-based game. I don't think anybody approached it the way I approached it. So even when I realized that other people made crew content, that crew content was really just a montage of them. It was just like, it's me. I'm the man. I'm him. My content was like, my point guard cold as fuck. Here's him. I'm the shooter. I'm cold as fuck. Here's me. My big be killing folks. So like, I made everybody a character in my story, and I told their stories as well. I might have a game that I played like shit, but if my homie went crazy, then the title of that video was gonna be my homie carried me. I couldn't hit shit. You know what I'm saying? And that video was his spotlight. So like at that time, nobody was really doing that. So I think it was just the perfect storm. It was the perfect time. YouTube. I don't want to say it was in its infancy because it wasn't, but this gaming shit was still somewhat new, especially sports games. COD was going crazy, but sports games was still somewhat new, and it just gave me the opportunity to create my own lane.
I ain't gonna lie, I got some of them Wolfpack videos where
Yes, sir.
where I'm going crazy, and the commentating is like, bro, I remember when I first ran with y'all, dog. I was nervous as shit, and that's the first time I ever been nervous playing 2K. Cause mind you, at this point, I'm new to YouTube. Like my shit ain't. I ain't got my 100K yet, or whatnot. Right. So even getting around with some of the people that I looked up, like in this space, like I'm like, bro, this is different. You know what I'm saying? Like this different. Mm-hmm. But I ain't gonna lie, there was a dope experience coming up. So you at EA Sports. At this point, is you still playing 2K and making 2K content?
Yeah, I'm still in it to win it because, in 2015, that's when I hit the pivot in the role. So 2015, I quit my full-time job and I made YouTube my full-time thing. So in that point, it's content. Like content is getting made. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a shit what the game is. Content is getting made. I know, I got a relationship with, the gaming companies. I got a few devs that I can jump in their DM and be like, hey man, this shit don't really feel too good when you do this or that, So I'm respectful of those relationships. I'm not putting those, I'm not making that type of content to be like 2K dev told me, I'm not going crazy like that. So I'm smart with those relationships, but I'm still creating content like crazy. So it's NBA 2K, it's NBA Live, it's Madden, it's UFC, it's whatever. At that point I was a sports gamer. I had been gone from the shooting shit, the FPS games for so long that even if I wanted to jump back out there, I was ass at it. So I mean, I hate that I kind of boxed myself into just being the 2K guy, but I would expand out and do anything sports related, NCAA football, any of that.
Hey, Shawn.
Yo.
You peep what he said before he went into that? When did the game change to go from that y'all fly me out for the events or whatnot as a content creator to let us start writing you a check, Spade? Like, what was that transition like?
I'm gonna tell you, with anything in life, you gotta be confident, right? I got this saying that people don't really fuck with, but I tell people it's the thin line between confidence and arrogance, and I like to start my day with a foot on either side of that line, because throughout that day, some shit gonna happen that's gonna hurt my confidence. And I'm gonna make a video and some hating ass nigga gonna jump in the comment section and tell me I'm trash. Like, something throughout the day gonna lower me. So I want to start off as high as I can be. I want to start off and tell myself I'm the shit, tell myself I'm the best at this shit. So with that being said, I'm seeing how people really doing the game changer shit. The game changer shit at the time, I don't know what it is now, but it was nothing like 2K's community day. 2K's day was they would fly you out, put you in a hotel. You would get there on like a Wednesday. You would go play the game on like a Thursday. Friday, they put your ass on a plane. You heading back home. That's a wrap. EA would fly you in on like a Monday. Monday would be a free day. You didn't have shit to do. Tuesday through Friday, you would be expected to go to the studio. You get to the studio about 10 in the morning. You play the game. They would give you a lunch, the lunch on them, the flight on them, the room on them. You got a daily stipend in the hotel that's on them. The hotel got a whole bar in the lobby that, you know what I'm saying, that you can charge that shit to your room and have that on your daily stipend. So I saw two different things. I saw the guys who came in and just made this shit a party and just, and balled out, had fun, and show up when it was studio time. When you in the studio, you playing the game. I saw folks dozing off. I saw people who, didn't really take it serious. And on the other side, I saw people who felt like because EA flew them down there, they couldn't tell EA when something was trash. They just loved everything. It didn't matter what. They could have brought us a turd on a plate and folks would be like, this shit is fire. So I noticed that because I'm just a people watcher, man. Like, I'm a weird dude. I watch people. And I was like, okay, for one, like I said, I ain't really no party person. So all the content creators would be there. And I would get there and I would tell everybody, one night this week I'm going out with y'all. Whatever night that is, we going out. It's whatever. Like, if we drinking, it's whatever. The rest of them nights, I'm going back to my room. I'm going to make some content on the laptop. I'm going to upload some shit. Now, I will say, other people had, a different plan. They might make content for the whole week and show up and be like, man, I got videos scheduled for this whole week. I'm chilling. But my shit wasn't moving like that. So I'm like, I'm going to go out one night. The rest of the night, I'm going to kick it. I mean, I'm going to be in my room doing shit. When I get to the studio, I'm taking me a notepad. I'm writing down notes. I'm calling out shit that I see that I don't like. I'm communicating with the devs. And I think I'm doing a good job. Like, I really feel like I'm bringing value to this shit. The day I knew I was bringing value to this shit was when the community manager changed. The guy that they used to have left. They hired a new guy. And he came in. He want to do shit his way. He get a whole new roster of game changers. And me. And he says to me, he says, the dev team told me they didn't care who I kept or let go as long as I ain't let you go. They didn't care about anybody else as long as I ain't let you go. And in my mind, I was like, okay, I must be pretty good at this shit. Now, how do I leverage this? And how do I make my next move?
So this was EA Sports, right?
Yep.
So EA Sports went from one crew of game changers, switched managers, wipe that bitch clean, only kept you. Did any of them YouTube niggas start acting crazy? You know how niggas get to acting funny and shit. Did any of them? You ain't got to say no names, but could you tell whether or not it was some hating shit going on in there?
Now, not toward me, but I mean, I got a relationship with other folks, so I would talk to folks, and they would be like, "Damn, man, it's like EA don't really fuck with me no more. Like, what happened?" And I would just be like, "Man, they got a whole new, they got a new CM." And I know this is also around the time that like 2K started signing their people. So like 2K's community day, it eventually grew to something like now they got a program that rivals Game Changers. I don't know what it's called. I think it's called Next Makers or something like that. Well, they started signing them folks, and they were signing them to like exclusive deals, saying like, if you're in this program, you can't upload certain EA content. You can't go to some of these other events. They wasn't doing it like that back. Again, this is one of the advantages of being early on, because some of the rules and shit they got in place now wasn't around. So I do remember one content creator in particular was saying like, I signed the deal, and I was like, damn, bro. I'm like, Madden do pretty good on your channel, bro. Like, you ain't gonna be able to upload Madden? And he was like, man, EA ain't fucking with me no more anyway. Like, I don't never get the invite no more. They don't fly me down no more. So, I'm gonna get this bag over here. And I'm like, I feel it. But at that point, I think I was so heavily involved with EA that 2K started to work with me less and less. Plus, I did some knucklehead shit. I gotta tell you this story, bro. I went to EA once, and EA at the time, they had a store in their studio. And, once a week, they would just take the Game Changers and be like, we'll let y'all go to the store. And I bought an EA Sports backpack. Fam, I get invited to 2K. I rocked that bitch all through the 2K studio. I rocked it all through the studio. And low key, I think that was the last time I got invited, to be for real with you. But yeah, that was some knucklehead shit. But yeah, man. So I started to realize that I had, that value. I was like, okay, I'm doing something right. So I just started to have conversations, with the dev team to be like, what would it take? Like, is it, I'm just asking questions. And I was talking to, the creative director one day, and I was like, man, like, I would love to work as a dev. And he was like, hey, man, you should apply. Like, we don't have a spot. He told me straight up, like, right now, I don't even have an opening, but I believe you would be good at it. And that was all I needed to hear. Because if he didn't shoot me down and be like, oh, no, I was like, oh, okay, I got a chance. So I just waited until, I saw the opening and I applied.
Okay, so you go from a game changer to a developer. At this point, are you still making 2K content?
No. So I'm glad you asked that. When I started going through my interview process, I don't want to say it's a regret, but if it is any type of regrets, the only regret is I wish I could have separated my personal identity from my YouTube identity. But I'm talking to a company that only knows me as K.Spade, so I can't pull the wool over these people's heads. They know who the hell I am. So in my interview process, they was like, you realize, like, if this go through, you're not going to be able to make 2K content anymore, because we see that as promoting their game. And I was like, nah, I mean, that makes sense. I can't even front like I don't see it. Like, I think it is promoting their game. I get it. And, I'm not going to front it. I had my moments where I missed like content creation. I still would make Madden videos, and I would make some NBA live videos or whatever, but I missed doing that 2K shit, because it was just fun to me, and it had become something that I helped, I paid my bills with that. So I missed it. But I knew when I went in, like, they told me up front, like, yeah, this shit right here gotta die.
Okay, so when you go in as a dev for not Madden, but for EA Sports, at this point, what game you developing? Is it just all around, just whatever?
No. Nah, I joined the NBA Live team, and it was the perfect spot for me because it really put the battery in my back for two reasons. For one, I'm just gonna keep it a bean. It was apparent to me on my first day of work that everybody on that team wasn't thrilled that I was there. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting beside a guy who done, he did it, he did it the hard way. He done went to school for this shit. He done joined this company as like an associate designer or maybe even QA. He started as QA. He done grinded through QA. He done went from an associate designer to a game designer. And here I come. I ain't been to no school. I ain't do no QA. Here I am, day one, game designer. So it was definitely, everybody on that team didn't fuck with the fact that I was there. And I knew it. And I told myself, I can't even be mad that they feel this way, because if I was them, I would feel that way. At the same time, you know, I was raised with spiritual parents, and you know, my mom got to say, and she said, favor ain't fair. You know what I'm saying? Like, when God want to give you something, that's for you. Everybody ain't gonna understand it, you know. So I told myself two things. I said, one, I want to be good at this shit, and I got to work twice as hard as everybody in here because they already got an advantage on me. They know this shit, and I don't. And for two, I wanted to earn the respect of those that I could. Some people I knew I was never going to turn them to a fan. You know, I can't worry about that. But I wanted to make sure that people knew early, like, oh, buddy at work, like he got a crazy work ethic. So I hit the ground running. I mean, I think when I first got the job, I didn't make a YouTube video for over a year. And it wasn't because I wasn't allowed to. It's because I didn't have the time. I mean, you know, the work day started at 10. I'm showing up at 9:30. I'm leaving that bitch at 9:30, 10 o'clock on my own accord. You know, like nobody's asking me to work late. I'm working late because I'm trying to learn this shit and I'm trying to do stuff. And also, man, I was motivated by the fact that 2K was a juggernaut. I knew what we was up against. I don't feel like anybody on that team played 2K as much as I did. I knew how great they were. But I also felt like that gave me an advantage because I'm like, I know what good looks like. And I know what areas we need to improve. So I came in with the battery in my bag, bro.
In the NBA
Okay.
2K NBA Live Award, which one was that real fast? Like which NBA Live when you came in was it?
I came in right after the release of 19. So, you know, the sad truth is I really did get pretty good. And I started gaining more areas of ownership. You know, they gave me this and then they gave me that and they gave me this and gave me that. So I'm owning 5-6 gameplay features on NBA Live 20 that unfortunately the world never got to see. And I ain't gonna lie, man, like when that game got canceled, that was, I didn't know, you know, it was me all over again. Like I said, when I signed with Machinima and crew mode got pulled out the game, I was like, okay, what am I, you know? So I'm like, damn, are they finna let me go? Do I go back to content creation? Do I try to hit another game studio? Like, I didn't know what the fuck was gonna happen. And really, I just was hurt that people didn't get a chance to see what I had been working so hard on. I was busting my ass on shit that the world will never see.
I got a question. You know, a lot of people say game devs and this and that. Like, can you break down to people like what was your job as a game dev? Like, because from my understanding, like it's levels to it. You feel
Oh,
me?
it
Like,
definitely is.
Yeah. So what was your particular job or role in it?
So I was a game designer, and I don't know if this, well, I am a game designer, but I don't know if this correlates to every gaming studio. I don't know if, you know, this is the way it's set up everywhere, but the way we did it on that team was it was kind of broken down. Every feature was broken down into like 3-man groups. It would be a designer, an animator, and a engineer. The designer, obviously, he's right into design. He or she is right into design. They're coming up with the vision. You are the idea person. It's your job to come up with dope shit. Then you get with an SC to be like, how the fuck are we going to build this? Because that's the code writer. Then you get with an animator that's going to be like, I need new animations to support this shit. And then once they do their job, it falls right back on you. You have to implement this thing. You have to tag this thing. You have to tune this thing. And you have to balance it to make sure that whatever you just created isn't overpowered. It's not game breaking. It's not, you know. So it's a 3-man team, but a lot. And I don't mean this to sound like, you know, like this is to the other two, because I tell folks all the time, the engineers, they're the smartest people in the building. Like these dudes are legitimate geniuses, all of them. But once they do their code work, boom, that shit on you. They like, go. It's up to you to get in there and make that shit work and to tune where this asset plays from and what it looked like, how generous it is. And I'm telling you, man, once you peek under the hood of a game engine, that shit changes it changes your whole perception. I can play a game now and be like, they got this shit tuned so crazy. Look how warpy this shit is. Folks don't even see the shit that I be seeing. I be playing the game like this shit is so warpy. They need to tune this, or this asset shouldn't be able to play from here. This is a standing asset that it gave me when I'm moving. It didn't respect my momentum. And this is all the stuff that I've learned, since I've been in the industry. But my responsibility was writing designs, carrying these designs out, and then tuning this stuff so that it's not game breaking.
Those shit. One more question.
Yes,
so far, what is your favorite moment at EA?
Ooh, it's crazy, man. I think all of my favorite moments are on that NBA team. Like, what the world don't know, the outside world didn't know, was just how small of a team that was. That NBA Live team wasn't a big team, not a AAA title, so don't have the big budget. Oftentimes we felt like the little kid that the parent don't love. You got Madden doing stupid numbers and FIFA doing stupid numbers, and NBA, they would just be like, here's a few pennies. It wasn't really like that, but I'm saying that's how it felt to us. But what it did was everybody on that team just had like this little chip on their shoulder, man. Like, we knew 2K was shitting on us, and we wanted that shit. Like, we showed up every day wanting to be David and fight the Goliath. And some of the stuff, I mean, obviously I'm biased. I worked on it, but some of the stuff that we was doing in 20, at the end of the day, I still feel like character models was going to look better in 2K. Depth of modes was going to be better in 2K. But from a mechanic standpoint, I truly believe we were shitting on them with 20. If that shit had came out, I truly believe that. I felt like shooting was better in our game. I felt like dribbling was better in our game. I don't want to get all in the weeds, but I think, one of the features that I was given, somebody told me, like, anytime a new designer joins the team, they give them this feature. So, like, it wasn't this sexy feature. It was supposed to be grunt work. But me, with this battery in my back, I'm approaching this shit like I'm loving it. I'm talking to the SE, and the SE that I had partnered with me, he was like, I like working with you because you challenge me. I'm saying, like, we got to be able to do this and this. And folks on the team like, nah, we can't do that. And I'm like, no, we have to be able to do this. And I'm working with this smart ass SE. And I might come in the next day and he'll be like, I was up to 3 o'clock in the morning and I figured out we can do this thing. And just that shit, I can't even explain, like, the release of dopamine when I would just come up with an idea that people would be like, this is impossible. And me and this SE would do this shit. And I would just be like, that shit really had me like, oh, I'm the man. Like, if you like, this shit finna be crazy. They better look out for me. And I really felt like that. So all of my favorite moments really was on that team because I feel like we built a pretty good game.
I ain't gonna lie, that's some good insight. Because younger, like, I don't know for everybody else, but when I was young, I always wanted to be a part of something like that. But like you said, you never know. Like, growing up in the hood, I'm from Jackson, Mississippi. You feel me? Poverty, however you want to look at it.
Yes, sir.
You never know how to get to those steps of being a game developer, like what process to take or what path to even look at, or, to go study or whatever the case might be. Like, everybody always say, you got to go to school to do this, you got to go to school to that for that. But the prime example of, a nigga not even having to go to school and just working hard in a different way and actually doing something that you was already doing, you feel me, and making it a career.
Yeah, I go back. I'm from a small town as well. I'm from a little bitty city in Georgia called Griffin. Shout out to Griffin, GA, about 35 miles south of Atlanta. And every chance I get, man, I go back to Griffin. I do like career days and talk to the kids at school. And that shit used to catch me off guard until I had a homie that was a principal. And he was like, hey, we need you to come talk to the kids. And I jokingly said, you want me to come talk to them? Because I'm going to tell them, like, I'm going to be on some fuck college shit. And he was like, nah, bro. Realistically, all these kids not going to go to college. All these kids can't go to college. But they need to know that they still can be somebody. They need to know they still can be successful. And I'm like, holy shit, that's crazy. Because when I was in school, they weren't straight up telling me, like, oh, you're going to be a failure if you don't go to school. But it was implied. Like, it was implied if you wasn't going to college, you was fucking up. Like, I really felt like, I remember being a kid I remember graduation night throwing my cap up thinking like, man, what am I gonna do? I'm looking around all my classmates, they happy, they talking about where they going, they like grouping up, like we going here, we going to Georgia Southern or Georgia State, we going here, and I ain't have no plan, none. And I really felt like I was doomed, like for real, for real. So every chance I get, I go back and tell people that you can, but at the same time, I realistically tell people that, man, I don't like saying lucky. Man, I was so blessed that I was fortunate, bro. And I realized that this shit ain't, everybody ain't gonna be able to walk the path that I walked. So I don't necessarily sell my path. I just sell, it ain't got to be the path that everybody on. It's other ways. And I just try to push that.
Nah, that's real dope, bro. Cause like I say, like kids now in today's time, like kids making money off game just from streaming. You feel me? Like
Yes,
they
sir.
doing all type of shit that, like even in my era, like around the Soulja Boy era, Bow Wow era, where niggas had their gang crews and going at it with each other and shit. Like that's the era I grew up in. You feel me? Like them eras and shit, Call of Duty, War and shit like that. But it's just good for somebody that had the opportunity to speak on something like this, so kids can know that it's still possible. Like, and it's like I say, it's different opportunities to this day that kids don't have to go to school. Like your occupation could be gaming. Like that's some shit I dreamed about. You feel me? But never knew the way to go about doing that shit. But one more thing, if you could go back and do anything differently in your YouTube career, what would you do?
That's a great question. What I would do is, and this is gonna sound crazy, but I would quit my job sooner because the time that man, I be calling them G, so you gotta overlook me. But that era that G was talking about, really, man, that 2K13, 2K14 run, that was my peak. I'm getting 80, 90,000 views per video. I'm killing it. But in my mind, I felt like that wasn't enough. I kept doing that. I ain't quite making enough. And the reality is, by the time I really quit my job, my channel was on the decline. I was no longer getting no 80, 90,000 views a video. I'm getting 25, 30,000 views a video at the time that I quit my job. At the time I quit my job, I got folks in my comment section saying, you washed. Folks is typing that shit in my comment section. So like, when I quit my job, it wasn't a strategic move. It wasn't me saying like, okay, now it's time. Man, at that time, bro, I was working in a factory, dog, breaking my back in a factory. I had been in that factory for 14 years. I started working there in 01. I quit that bitch in 2015. I still remember the day, and I like to tell this story because I want folks to realize how crazy this shit was. I called my wife from the job, and I was so frustrated that I was almost to the point of tears. And I was like, I got to get out of here. And she was like, what's going on? She thought something had happened like that day. She was like, what happened? And I'm like, nothing ain't happened. I just know this ain't what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. I know it. I feel this shit in my bones. I've never been more sure about a thing ever than I am about this. I got to get out of here. And she was like, what you want to do? And I was like, I don't even know what I can do. Like, I really was in a bad spot, for real. And I was like, the only thing I know I got is this channel. And everything in my mind is telling me I know how to work a calculator. And the math ain't mathing. The money that I'm making on YouTube right now, that shit is not going to carry me. I know it ain't. But if I have to, I'll put up 2 videos a day. Fuck it, 3 of them a day if I have to. I got to get out this bitch. And because I got a woman that is either crazy as hell or she believe in me, she was like, quit. Fuck it, quit. And I remember telling her, I said, I don't know if YouTube is my path, but I believe it's going to lead me to my path. And I jumped with no, I ain't had no promises. I jumped in 2015 and I got hired by EA in 2018. So for 3 years, it just was, y'all finna get these videos. I don't care if ain't nothing but 5,000 of y'all clicking on this shit. You finna get 2 of them today and maybe 3 tomorrow. So if I could do anything over, I would have quit in 2013 and I'd have went crazy.
Hey, I'm just gonna call it the Queen of Spades, man. Shout out to the Queen of Spades. Sound like she held you down and and push you to your dream and put you on a different path.
She really did, man. Kudos to her. I made her make me a promise because I know I'm the type of person when I put my mind to something, I go all in. So I told her, I said, promise me that when it's time for me to take my ass back to work, you will tell me. Don't let me just, you know what I'm saying, be out here like I don't want to be no 50-year-old rapper at the gas station trying to hand out mixtapes. I need somebody to tell me, hey, nigga, it's time to wrap that shit up. Like, I need somebody, and you the person I trust to pull me by the back of my shirt when it's time. And I just thank God it never got to, it never got to the point where it was time. Because, man, on some real shit, I used to have bad dreams that I had to go back to that factory and ask for my job back, man. And that shit used to drive me. Like, I would have that dream and be like, nope, let me get up, make a video. Let me, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got to do something. I did not want to go back there as a failure.
No, it sounds like determination to me. Have you worked with any other games at EA? I heard you mention like Madden and UFC. Have you been a part of any of those teams in particular?
So I work on the Madden team now. I was a part of the very small initial team that was investigating bringing back college football, which has now been announced. We all know that's coming back. And
Wait. Hold on.
No, hold on.
Nah.
Hold on, man.
Y'all knew that.
Run it.
Hey, I know that, and I know that. And I just want to insert this. Thank God that y'all are bringing that back, because I swear to you, I haven't. No disrespect to Madden at all. I haven't touched football since fucking the last college football.
You ain't the only one.
And before that, it was just the 2K football. But yeah, proceed.
I didn't do very much on 20. I had just got there. Where at this time, I want to say it's 21. I didn't do very much there. But then I started to, learn these tools, because these tools was a little bit different than what we worked on NBA. And 22, I was able to really get some things done on that game. 23, I owned even more features, and shit, we in the lab pushing for 24 now.
So I heard you say this more than once now. What is owning some features?
Oh man, so now this is how you know I really fuck with y'all, because I try my best not to even tell people what features I work on, because I don't want them to be like, oh man, right. But so I'll just go ahead and say it. So like wide receiver DB interaction is my feature in Madden. Your wide receiver do some goofy shit, I fucked up. That's me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just gonna go ahead and keep it a bean. So like, that's how the game works. So like, people will hit me up and be like, hey man, why this? And I'll be like, fam, I have no idea. Like, I don't work on that. And the way these teams are built, you would never believe. Because like I said, wide receiver DB interaction is me. But like, catching is not me. So like, if your receiver run the route and he catch, somebody else work on catching, somebody else work on passing, somebody else work on blocking, somebody else work on ball carrier skill moves. But they'll be the product owner of that mechanic or that feature. So, ultimately, it's cool to just get as many of these things under your belt as possible. Eventually you want to be able to be like, shit, tackling, that's me. Blocking, that's me. Whatever features you want, you have to be like, all this shit is me. Like, I'm the guy to write the designs. I'm improving this shit. I'm saying what animations we need. All that.
I ain't gonna lie, that's dope. Cause my little cousin, like he play Madden damn near like every day. Like when he ain't doing no competitive Apex and all that shit. Apex EA too, right?
Yep.
That's dope. But yeah, I know, I wanted to ask that question for him and shit. But let's get to the college football. Like, what's the insight we can have on that right now?
Man, the only thing I can tell you is I hope them boys is bringing it, because every time I talk to people, they say the same thing you said. I might leave the house in my Madden shirt. Like, I got, they give us swag or whatever working on the team. I might go to the store with a Madden shirt on, and somebody might catch me in the store and be like, hey man, y'all better not fuck up that college football. Like, people passionate about that game.
When can we expect it? Do you know?
I want to say next summer 24, I think.
Oh, so it's coming.
Yeah, bro.
What about the basketball?
Yeah. I don't know nothing about that. I don't think it's any plans for that. But I don't know.
And you say you strictly on Madden right now? That's it? Wide receiver DB?
Yeah. I mean, and there's some other things, but that was the only thing I was willing to give up. But yeah, I'm only working on Madden.
He said he hold it out.
Yeah.
All right, so can we get a part 2 before a major release? You know, some rap games exclusive.
Bro, you can get me whenever, dog.
Yes,
Whenever.
sir. Yeah, we locked. We locked. It's on record now.
Let me ask you this: what's your favorite game that you play from EA?
Currently, or of all time?
Just all time.
Probably the Fight Night series, man. I used to. God damn, man. I don't know. I want to say NCAA football. It will either be NCAA football or Fight Night.
Okay. I ain't gonna lie. Like one of my favorite was the street basketball. Like the basketball, the SSX, the snow games game. Like that was my favorite. Like I used to love them as a kid and shit.
I'm not gonna lie, you saying that just kind of blowed my mind because I had a dude tell me like, man, I used to really love. I'm finna fuck the name up, but whatever it's called, SSX Tricky or whatever, and I was like,
yeah,
I never played that.
Man,
and he was like, you never played
that?
And I hit him back. Well, I said, man, I'm black, man. I don't play that. So you saying that just really proved to me that I was wrong.
Man, listen, my mama used to love that game.
What?
Yes, bro. Like we played that shit like nonstop. And I know a lot of other people that played that game. You feel me? Like, so I don't know. I just feel like a lot of games that they have in their archive, they can slowly, bring back or just do a test run with, because it's still a lot of gamers that never played those games, and still a lot of niggas like around my age, that love them games. You feel me? Like,
no, that's facts.
Just to do something new. You feel me?
That's facts. I'm gonna hit you with this though. I feel like a lot of times when gamers think back to their favorite games, they remember the game, but they also like it's nostalgic because it connects to a different period of their life. So like when I say NCAA, man, back in them days, me and my homies, we had a couch play dynasty in NCAA. Like this shit wasn't online. I'll play my game. I call my homeboy and be like, yo, you holding the league up, when you gonna play when you gonna play your shit? And my homie would come to my house, play his game. Like if we had head-to-head games, we sat there and played that shit. So like, I'm not saying NCAA wasn't a great game, because I think it was, but my nostalgic connection to that era was me and my homies hanging out. And I guarantee you, when you think back to games like SSX and stuff like that, like even you just speaking to the fact that your mom played it too, the game is probably 70% of it, but 30% of it is, that era in your life and the people who were around you. Oftentimes when people remember games, they always talk about older games. And I always sometimes just be a hater where people will be like 2K football, I work on Madden, 2K football. I hear a lot. People be like, 2K football was so good. And I'm like, man, you remember that game through rose-colored lenses. That game wasn't that fucking good, bro. And I just like to fuck with people because I'd be like, I guarantee you get a copy of that shit there and play it. You're going to be like, man, this shit has it. Like, it definitely is not bad, but it's just not as good as we remember it. And my one last rant, and I'll shut up. And G, I don't know how you're going to feel about this one. And this is going to sound real crazy coming from a YouTuber. But man, I just feel like YouTube has ruined gaming so bad, bro. Somebody like, obviously, you make sport games. We drop a game every year. So, our development time is 8 months, maybe. But people who make games like GTA or something like that, man, them people got 5, 6, 7 years of development time to put a game out. Just for somebody to get that bitch, jump right on YouTube and type how to beat and beat it. And then they'll bitch about it and be like, man, this game hella easy. It's like, no, because you didn't play the shit right. Or sport games. People jump right on and say, here's the meta this. Here's the best dribbles. Here's the best jumper. Here's the best playbook in Madden. Here's the best plays to run. Here's the best game in COD. The best gun in COD. So what happened is every game you play, everybody's doing the meta shit. Everybody's sweating their ass off. And it's just made gaming not be as fun as it used to be, man. And I just think YouTube is right now, it is hurting the fun of gaming.
If I'm being completely honest, when it comes to 2K, I'm sorry, because at first, wasn't nobody uploading how to do nothing on 2K. it was
Talk your
all
shit.
it was all competitive. Like nobody was really breaking the game down and showing different mechanics in the game. But
Talk your
now
shit.
it's that's all it is.
That's all it is.
That's all it is. It's just a how to or the best is that's it. I mean,
That's it.
nobody really watch gaming videos for gameplay no more. I feel like.
Nope. Not many.
My bad, 2K. I did that to y'all. I ruined it for everybody.
You didn't go as hard as I thought you were gonna go. I thought you were gonna talk your shit and say you were one of the first ones breaking that shit down.
Nah, this one for you, Spade. You feel me?
Oh, okay,
This one for you. This one for you. We gonna do an episode on when I pop my shit, but I ain't
This
ready.
one ain't it.
I ain't ready yet. I ain't ready. I ain't did enough to pop my shit yet. I don't feel.
Okay.
But regardless of all that, bro, it was a pleasure and an honor to have you on Rap Games as our first guest.
Pleasure was all mine, man. Thanks for having me.
Nah, we really appreciate it, man. Like, just speaking from a younger generation, like, I appreciate it. You feel me? Like, I needed the insight on gaming, bro. I really did.
Yeah.
Like, and for anybody else younger than me, like, I know plenty of young kids that love video games. They're gonna love to hear their stories.
That's dope, man. Yeah, I'm always, just trying to tell my story, really, man, because one of the things I feel a pressure to not make this company look bad. I feel like they took a chance on me, and if I do my job, then that increases the chances that somebody else will get a chance taking on them. Maybe another black kid without a college degree will get an opportunity. But if I get in here and fuck this up, it don't just hurt me. I feel like it hurt others. So yeah, man, I'm always telling that story, and I'm always trying to see what I can do to pave the way for others.
You definitely an
for
icon, an icon in the gaming community. For shit show stamped in the 2K community without question. But yeah, like I said in the beginning, like you did way too much than just that 2K shit. Like it's way bigger than that. It's levels.
Appreciate you, bro.
A lot of people ain't got to them levels yet. So big salute on that.
Appreciate you.
All right, bro. We done just came to the end of this episode, bro. Shout out to K.Spade for stopping by and fucking with us.
Tell the audience where they can find you at, man. What's your socials?
Oh shit! You can find me on IG, K.SpadeTheProspect. And you can find me on Twitter at K.SpadeThe64.
Episode 4. This DJ Young Shawn, the Street Source, and I got my brother ManMan Grindhard here with me, and we out.